And if I could just start with you, you work at a large corporate firm here in town, I think. Is that right?
Yes, Senator.
You, according to the materials you submitted, you have represented, among other clients, the Boeing company since 2013. Do I have that right?
That's correct.
According to the same materials for much of this representation, you served as the primary or the lead counsel for Boeing. Is that correct?
In certain matters, I did.
Is that litigation still ongoing?
No, it is not.
There's a case in particular I want to ask you about. It's a case that featured breach of contract claim, fraud claims, and trade secret claims by a company called Alabama Aircraft Industries. They allege that Boeing stole proprietary information when the two companies were working together on a joint bid for an Air Force contract. Now, a federal jury had already determined that Boeing owed this company $2.1 million for violating the bidding contract and for breaching a non-disclosure agreement. Boeing had previously, in 2006, paid a $615 million settlement to DOJ to settle claims that it had illegally obtained competitors' information with lucrative government contracts. And as I'm sure you're aware, Boeing has been at the center of major concerns about whistleblower retaliation, safety of its planes. In fact, we've heard testimony right here in this committee about all of that. Here's what I'm getting at. Boeing has engaged in corporate behavior in a pattern going back years now that, shall we say, is less than model. Do you have any thoughts about your representation of this company? Any regrets, any concerns?
In my work as an advocate, I have been duty-bound to zealously advocate for my client's best interests, and that is what I have done. As a neutral judge, I am very mindful that my role instead would be to apply faithfully and impartially the law to the specific facts that appear before me, and that is what I would do.
No moral qualms at all?
I believe that it has always been a strength of mine to be able to see the shared humanity in every one of my clients, no matter the issue. And I understand that as a judge, my role would be to fairly and impartially apply the law, no matter the parties or the issue that was before me, and that is what I would do.
Well, shared humanity, this is a corporation, though, isn't it? It's one of the biggest corporations in the world.
It is.
And one of the most profitable corporations in the world. I assume you chose to represent them voluntarily. I mean, right? You weren't forced to represent Boeing.
It was the case I was assigned to at my firm.
But you continued to do it. You served as lead counsel, I thought. There's multiple pieces of litigation in which you served as primary lead counsel for Boeing, correct?
There are multiple Boeing matters that I've had.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask you about a different corporation that you've represented, the 3M Corporation, huge multinational conglomerate. In this case, the plaintiff was an individual named Jonathan Vaughn. He was an Iraq War veteran. He alleged that he'd suffered hearing loss stemming from his use of
Senator Josh Hawley delivers a tense and relentless line of questioning as he confronts a judicial nominee over her past legal work representing major corporations like Boeing and 3M. From allegations involving whistleblower retaliation and trade secret theft to lawsuits tied to defective military earplugs, the hearing quickly turns into a dramatic showdown about corporate power, ethics, accountability, and the role of elite law firms in Washington. The nominee repeatedly defends her record as an attorney, but Hawley keeps pressing
them in litigation over these earplugs. Just any conclusions or reflections on your involvement in that case?
Senator, I've had a varied practice handling cases that span the spectrum of legal issues and representing a wide range of parties throughout my career. And I believe that the litigation matters and the variation in the work that I have done has given me a very strong and versatile litigation skill set and a comfort in the courtroom that would serve me well were I to be confirmed to be a judge on the D.C. Supreme Court.
Okay, so you're not concerned is what I take from it. I mean, you don't have any regrets about representing either of these corporations in these various matters.
I believe that I have had a strong litigation practice throughout my career.
Well, I heard that part, but I'm just asking if you have any regrets, if you have any qualms. Sounds like you don't, which is fine. I just want to. I mean, obviously, you're a very talented person. You've done terrific work. You were made partner at a very early age, so you have a lot of skill. I'm just trying to figure out why you've chosen to use it for these particular clients.
I do not have regrets about my career. I believe that I have developed a strong litigation skill set that would serve me well as a judge.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I have concerns, obviously. I don't love the representation. You know, these big corporate clients, these huge corporations, they've got so much influence in this capital. They've got so much influence in our economy. They've got probably every law firm in America lined up to represent them. And, I just think sometimes we got to ask ourselves, I mean, do these people doing these kind of things or ripping off people like Jonathan Vaughn, I mean, do they really need our representation? Obviously, every client's entitled to a vigorous defense, sure. But we still have to ask ourselves, I'm an attorney myself, we still have to ask ourselves as attorneys, should we be representing them? I mean, do we want to do that? Obviously, it's your judgment, so I'm not suggesting you've done anything wrong. I mean, it's 100% your judgment, and you did your job well. But I have to say, it concerns me a little bit. I'm almost out of time. Mr. McKenzie, I just want to ask you one thing really quickly here before my time expires. You wrote a letter in 2021 asking then Vice President Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment. I just want to quote you to make sure I get this right. You asked, that's the removal from office provision, the unfitness from office provision of the Constitution. So you urged then VP Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment against then President Trump to declare to the leaders of Congress that the president's unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. You went on to say that then President Trump was unfit for office and a reckless and wanton threat to the Constitution. Does that still reflect your views?
Senator, I do want to correct the record. I didn't write the letter. Along with hundreds of other folks, signed on to the letter because we were concerned about the events of January 6th.
Okay, you signed the letter, though.
Absolutely.
Does that still represent your views?
I signed the letter, Senator. I was concerned about January 6th.
Yeah, and you haven't changed your view at all that the ex-president is unfit for office, a reckless and wanton threat to the Constitution?
Under the Judicial Code of Ethics, if that matter were to come before me, it would be inappropriate for me to state my position at this time. So I'm precluded from stating that position.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if your views changed. I think you've answered my question. I think your answer is you stand by it. You signed it. You stand by it. Is that fair to say? I'm not trying to get how you rule out a case. I'm just trying to figure out, you signed a letter. I just want to make sure that you haven't changed your views. I think you've answered my question. I think you said you stand by it. Don't let me put words in your mouth, but is that correct? You signed it. You stand by it. Is that fair to say?
It is correct that I signed the letter.
Okay.